The final stop on the road to WrestleMania. This build has been very complicated, and unlike the previous years, it seems to be a year where they don't know exactly what they're doing. They probably do, but it doesn't seem that way. Maybe it's because WrestleMania is a long way out compared to previous years, or they actually believe they're on fire, that they could do no wrong. Because one thing I've noticed recently about WWE, they actually believe they're on fire, which they are. But WWE's problem recently is that they take fan service for granted. Ticket price increases, the shows at times feel lazy, and it hasn't caught up yet, but judging by the past, it's a bad sign. Right now, we're not going to talk about that. Let's talk about the Elimination Chamber. The first match was the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Bayley, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Naomi. The winner faces the Women's World Champion. Jade Cargill finally made her return and assaulted Naomi before leaving. That was it. She obliterated her like crazy from left to right, and it got to the point where Naomi couldn't compete and she was eliminated. This story is finally going to have a proper conclusion. Cargill disappeared for about 3 months, and I'm glad to see it's actually continuing. The Bayley and Roxanne feud continued to develop, and this is me talking about the match from that moment's perspective. The match is very casual, and to me, it felt like it was a bit rushed. Meanwhile, Alexa Bliss. I don't know how to explain him, but while this was an Elimination Chamber match, it didn't have that vibe about it. Initially, Bayley was the first woman eliminated, and this is where the match kicked up. We can disregard the previous parts of the match. This is where it got really better and something you'd have to keep your eyes on. Bianca used her shotgun hair to whip Morgan. Big spot here. Alexa eliminates Roxanne, and it was down to 3. Bliss had a lot of positive fan reception, and I just want to say, I hate how long her finisher takes. Like, the whole posing stuff. Like, I know it's a Bray Wyatt maneuver, but because she grabs them randomly like this and holds them, it looks awkward. She got Bianca, but Liv Morgan caught her to make it a final 2. Belair's hair brought her some success in the past, and even during this match, but Morgan used it against her. Great back and forth between them, leading to the KOD from Belair for the victory. I've saw what some people have said about Bianca and Rhea deserving a long build, but to be honest with you guys, I'm fine with it now. This was a great match, though. I just want to say, initially I wasn't feeling it. It felt a bit rushed, but once Bayley got eliminated, that's where they're like, oh, let's go crazy. And they did. With regards to Rhea and Bianca, I don't know if this match is guaranteed to happen in the future, so it's best to happen now. They got about 7 weeks to have a build, so obviously that's no problem. To people that say it's rushed, well, they got time, and some great WrestleMania builds have had under 4 weeks. This one has about 7. Personally speaking, I don't want this to be a situation where I ponder, oh, what if they actually faced off at WrestleMania? Because these two deserve to face off in a WrestleMania match. It's that big. They also teased a bit of Io Sky on the side, so maybe it is a triple threat in the end. We'll see. The next match is a tag team match. Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus teamed up to face Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. So they did this as one of those stopgaps before WrestleMania for Tiffany Stratton, and of course the fact that it's in Toronto. If you're like, why do you sound uninterested? It's because it was just that. Now, when this match was booked, I honestly did not care for it at all because it didn't have much of a story to it. Obviously, Nia Jax and Tiffany have a story, but that match they had on SmackDown was way better than this. So to go from that to this was like, whatever. I didn't care much. It felt like something you'd see on SmackDown. Other than that, there's just not much to say about it. It literally was a basic tag team match. Like, yeah, there was a nice spot with Candice LeRae hitting a moonsault off the ropes. But other than that, I didn't care much for it. There wasn't much to say about it. And you guys know the result. Trish and Tiffany won. It wasn't going to end any other way. Well, obviously, it's for Trish Stratus in Toronto. I thought it was a filler match, so there's that. The next match was an unsanctioned match. Kevin Owens faced Sami Zayn. It's always something with these two. When it comes down to it, they're either brothers or sworn enemies until the end of time. The natural roles, though, is them as enemies and Zayn as the face. Kevin Owens is always used well as a heel. For some reason, WWE gives him far more attention when he's a villain, and he's always at his best. The lights were dimmed for this one, and watching it here, these two might actually hate each other. But I will say, Kevin Owens definitely hates Zayn more than vice versa. This guy always had some sort of ferocity in his actions, even more so than Zayn. He was assaulting referees, dropping Zayn through tables, showing no remorse over his friend, and continuously blaming him for all of this. The thing with this match is the fact that you expect it to end at some point, but then it keeps on going. Keeps on going, and it gets more vicious and darker from both men. We saw Zayn's worst, but Kevin Owens' worst was arguably miles ahead, that they weren't even in the same league. KO was deprived of any humanity during this match, and the commentary got me feeling so much sympathy for Sami Zayn. I really felt bad for him a lot during this match. The commentary and the lengths they allowed for Kevin Owens to go make this a classic. It's definitely a classic match, and a match that really shows you a babyface at his best and a heel at his best. That got me feeling very bad for Sami Zayn just thinking about it now. Then you got Kevin Owens winning the match, but even then feeling unsatisfied and wanting to end Zayn's career when all of a sudden Randy Orton came out. Randy Orton's return was welcoming once again. He had been away for about 4 months up to this point, and they needed to continue this feud, so it makes sense. He came out with all the anger. He thought it was 2009 again for a moment, but then the security decided to do their job at the worst time. They didn't let the scumbag heel Kevin Owens get his comeuppance here. They opted to do their job. And this is funny because Sami Zayn was about to meet God because they didn't do anything in that moment, yet they protected Kevin Owens here like he paid them off. Then Orton drops them all inside with the RKOs. It was great. It was a great match, a great follow-up on the whole Orton and Kevin Owens thing as well, and I'm looking forward to it. Zayn probably isn't going to be at WrestleMania, but by the time he does return, it does look like he's going to finish this feud with Kevin Owens. And again, he didn't want to be dragged into this initially, but then Kevin Owens got him to the point where he was asking for the match himself. The next match was a men's Elimination Chamber match. Logan Paul, Damian Priest, CM Punk, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins. The winner faces Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. So we gotta say it. This is one of the most star-studded Elimination Chamber matches in recent years. I do wish, though, they replaced Logan Paul and placed Roman Reigns in there. That would have been insane. But Roman doesn't work much these days. He does whatever he wants. With that said, heading into this one, there was a certain rumor going around about a certain someone winning this. We'll talk about it later. But with regards to this match, great. Beginning, you had casual stuff. Logan got eliminated early. Drew surprisingly got eliminated by Priest early on. He was actually the first man to be eliminated. This one surprised me a bit because I thought he'd go a bit far. And there was a rumor going around he'd win the chamber, which I'm personally glad didn't turn out to be the case because number one, we don't really like spoilers going around the day before a pay-per-view, but it's also the fact that it wasn't going to maximize the WrestleMania card to its best. That said, the match heated up once McIntyre got eliminated. Once McIntyre, Paul, Priest, these guys got eliminated, it left Cena, Rollins, and Punk. These three went absolutely insane. Cena and Punk once again had their battle, and I'm not gonna lie, I was smiling like crazy when they faced off because it felt like a flashback to the past. These two were some of my favorites back in their day, 2011, 12, 13, and their matches were second to none. They had the best matches in their WWE at the time. So it was good seeing that. It was very unpredictable. And when you have two top guys in there, it makes things a lot thrilling, especially because of the fact that we don't know the result. That makes it thrilling. Like, I hadn't felt a thrill in a main event match like this in a while. This is a must watch. You have to watch it because Cena and Punk didn't miss. Cena was a bit slower than previous years because he's gotten older, but they still have that same chemistry that they did 11 years ago, or 12, which is insane to me. Rollins did his part with Cena and Punk here, he was great, but the final two was going to be Cena and Punk. It was always going to be. Those two had a great battle, very unpredictable. You thought at one point Cena was going to get knocked down with the GTS. You thought at one point Punk was going to get knocked down with the AA. Then to top it all off, Rollins from out the frame hops in with the stomp on the steel to cost CM Punk the match, and Cena's desperate. But even then, he apologized to CM Punk, telling him he's sorry, and locked in the STF for the win. So there it is. John Cena goes to the main event of WrestleMania. And the hater of the year is Seth Rollins. He displayed an excellent performance of hating by costing CM Punk the WWE Championship and a spot in the WrestleMania main event. And in addition, watched on as he lost consciousness to the STF. I'm not gonna lie, I was still uncertain at this point. I didn't really know if he was gonna go to the main event. And if you're wondering why, well, because we still had a certain segment going along, which was Rock and of course Cody Rhodes. That segment goes down. Cody comes out, shows some respect to his WrestleMania opponent. Then we got Rock coming out, final boss. He's wearing the mariachi pants, which kind of had me worried he'd actually beat Cena in this moment. I wouldn't say worried, but like, thinking about it, because at the end of the day, I would have liked for either of them to be in the main event against Cody Rhodes. Travis Scott's in the background. I don't know why Travis Scott's in the background. I think he's one of the guys that sold his soul to The Rock. They go into the ring, right? Rock is waiting for his answer. He's waiting for his answer to Cody Rhodes. He's like, this is the moment. I want your soul, blah, blah, blah. He sounds demented. He sounds absolutely insane at this point, but he wants Cody Rhodes. He's like, I want it all. And I'm like, bro, don't you already have it all? You're the star of Moana. You're the biggest wrestling star of the past 25 years. Dwayne, you can waltz into any main event of WrestleMania you want, whether it's WrestleMania 42, 43, 50, whatever the hell you want. But it's agreed. Rock is greedy. He wants more. He wants Cody Rhodes. He wants Cody Rhodes in all of his essence and all of his success. So he's like, give me the answer. Yes or no. And Rhodes is like, and this is the thing, this is what shocked me out. He told him to go fuck himself. Like, I couldn't believe it because it's a WWE program. The fact that they're allowing for this kind of profanity was absolutely ridiculous to me. And at this point, it's like, okay, what the fuck does WWE got at this point? They got a lot of adrenaline riding in me at this point because this thing was exciting. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like a kid for a moment. And Rock's like, understood. From my perspective, I thought I was gonna rock bottom Cena's ass and take his spot. And then he's gonna be like, I'm gonna take your title, blah, 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 and beat up Cody Rhodes or some nonsense, right? Nope. What happens instead is Cena, John Cena of all people, is the one that sells his soul. He turns heel for the first time in 22 2 years. And the moment he turned heel, that smile he had on his face that looked goofy, everyone was like, oh, he has a goofy smile, blah, blah, blah. It faded. He had this angry look on his face. The one he had when he was about to embrace the hate or whatever the hell it was. And Rock's like, kill him. And I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. This is absolute insanity. The fact that they're having this heel turn go down right now, it was insane. Because not only did Cena turn heel, but it also ties into the whole final boss thing. It was excellent. It was marvelous. It was something special. And Cena whoops his ass. They beat him up with the watch, the belt. And at one point, Michael Cole's asking the question of, what the hell do you want, John? And this was a picture-perfect moment because at the same time, Cena was posing with the WWE Championship. And as you could see in the past, Cena's not as tough as he once was. He needs to sell his soul for that one last title, the title reign that would break the record of Ric Flair's. He needs it more than anything you could ever imagine. Similar to Austin in 2001. He has to do it. He just doubts himself. He doesn't know if he could actually do it. Sure, he won those belts in the past, but that was then. This is now. And he has to do anything he could to win it here. Excellent. Now we got Travis Scott in the background chilling, watching one of the biggest heel turns in wrestling history, whooping Cody Rhodes. This guy was more angry than The Rock. Like, I couldn't believe it. Why is he angrier at Cody Rhodes than The Rock is? I just never understood it. But that was hilarious. Again, we kind of jump to conclusions when it comes to the builds of WrestleMania, but that's because we want the best, you know, at the end of the day. This is clearly the best because you have the biggest wrestling star of the last 25 years alongside the biggest wrestling star of the last 15 years. Two megastars involved in a story that would elevate Cody Rhodes even higher. This guy's already at an all-time high, but now he's got this kind of storyline to deal with. It's insane. When April 19th was gonna come, I was gonna be like, I'm set, sign me up, blah, blah, blah. But this accelerates my interest, you know? I was gonna be interested in it a week before the show. Now, I'm interested in it right now. Come on, WrestleMania. All right, that's Elimination Chamber. Oh my God, that was insane. Like, I almost can't believe what happened. This pay-per-view was excellent, I must say it. This is actually one of Triple H's best pay-per-views, one of the best booked ones, and when we wanted answers to WrestleMania, they gave them to us, and not only just gave us the answers, but gave us some incredible twists and turns here. Some of you probably thought Cena would turn heel, but you didn't actually believe it until you saw it. It was one of those things. When I saw him turn heel, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell? This guy actually turned heel? Let's not talk about that. Whole event as a whole is excellent. Match of the night, unsanctioned match, I will go with, but the excitement of that Elimination Chamber needs to be mentioned. Women's Chamber match as well. Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, they had a great performance in there, especially Liv Morgan. She was woman of the match easily. No doubt about it for me. She was woman of the match easily. She's actually probably Women's Wrestler of the Month. She's had some of the best performances this month, and that's important to mention, so there's that. But yeah, this is one of Triple H's best pay-per-views. They set the stage for WrestleMania perfectly here. So yeah. Alright, what'd you guys think of Elimination Chamber? Please comment down below, and that's it for this video. Make sure you hit the KOD on the like button or perhaps the AA on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.